Howdy, I'm Cyberx with Wonderfully Crafted, and today we're talking about the basics of particles. So we're in Snowstorm, we got Snowstorm set up, and a lot of people have been having problems with this guy right here. So if you delete that, you can see there's a path there. It tells you what you need to put in there, and if you put that in there, then it uses the default texture that comes with the vanilla pack. That path goes to your resource pack, right? And in your resource pack, you have a textures folder. And in the textures folder, you have a particle folder. So you can see here it says textures, particle. So that gets us to this folder. Any files you put in this folder that are in this folder, like Clover, you would type in this box. If you put them in a subfolder like outside, then you would put outside as the folder with a slash and then the particle name. In this case, aim leaves A is the first one there, or whichever one you're going to pick. You put cornfields A in there. So that's the basics of setting up a texture in your particle file. Now, if you want to see that particle in the particle file, you would click it and you would go into your textures and into your particles, and you would select whichever one you wanted to use in that file or folder. So I could say I want to use, what do we want to use? The snowball. Okay, so it says snowball. If it says snowball's the name, then you need to type snowball into the texture link. And by having the two of those together, that is where it is. So I put the snowball texture in the particle textures folder, and then I attach it with a texture path and name, and I choose it and upload it into Snowstorm so I can see it by clicking choose file and selecting it. Now, because we've changed the texture we're using, we need to match the texture size to the texture size, and we need to have a start of the texture and a UV size. So in this case, the UV is 16 because it's the whole box. The texture size is 16 because it's the whole box. And the UV start is 0 and 0 because it's this right corner. The start just determines where you start. And you can see the particle squish just because it's not 1 to 1. So there's our particle, which is in the particle textures folder. Now, when we save the particle, we go to File and Download. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to save it to our resource pack particles folder, the particles folder, not the textures particles folder, but the particles folder. That's where we put the particle. And we need to change the name of the identifier to your pack name. So my add-on's name. And then we need to name the particle, snowball. And this is what we would use in the command or in blockbench or wherever to fire off that particle. So we put in the texture path, we choose the texture, we save the texture to the right place, which is in textures particle. Pay attention, it's particle, right, for textures. And then we save the particle to particles inside our resource pack. And that's it. That's the basics of doing particles. Thanks for watching. I'm CyberX with Outlandishly Crafted. If you got any questions, put them in the comments or join the Snowstorm Discord for help and samples. Make sure and check out the wiki.bedrock.dev because all of this is written there in the getting started.